So yeah, I believe we can indeed start with a quick update so that we are pretty much aligned. Let me share my screen if I can. Falco, yeah, Max will also be joining us, but just to add some comments about this. As you know, that if you didn't know, there is a Falco project board about all our efforts. In order to locate it, you just go on to projects with Falco, and we've got our board where we can start piling up tasks and topics that we are working on. So basically, what it has been happening lately is that some people have signed up for a bunch of topics. So as you can see, there is something about official container images that first of all, we want to add signatures. Then we want to have better images. And then, of course, we have signatures everywhere else in the places that we have defined and that you probably all know. Fortunately, we had Carlos and other people from Chainguard as well that have offered to help or to research some of these. One thing that I'm pretty excited about is the fact that we are trying to, for example, here, we're trying to take a look at the base image that Falco uses, especially for the light image. In case you didn't know, you can have two flavors of the Falco image. One is the driver loader, that's the massive elephant bloated image that has a lot of compilers that are used to try and compile the kernel module or classic BPF probe into your system and use the kernel headers that you have in your machine to do it. The other is the lightweight image that is used to run Falco. So if you use Helm, you're going to run Falco with that, and that has very little dependency, very few dependencies. It needs glibc, but the super cool thing is the fact that now with the experimental modern BPF probe, you can use only the light image without having to use like the massive one. So this is, I think it's going to improve if we can even get a lighter base image. If you have a new distribution, like for example, if you think the latest Ubuntu rather than a very modern, I don't know exactly the list of distributions that support BTF, but if you have a BTF enabled distribution, you can just get rid of the old thing and have a super lightweight and a super cool image for that. I'm really excited about it. And there is a work from people at Chainguard that want to try the Wolfie image there. It's multi-platform. It looks pretty cool, I think, for me. And also, if we look at the tasks here, we are trying to unblock this task. So if you look at this, this is essentially trying to add signatures when at build time to our images. This is not hard if you use GitHub Actions, but we have this weird combination of Prow, GitHub Action, and Circle CI, and we're trying to get that onto GitHub Actions. We are, along with Federico Di Pietro, trying to unblock that by having GitHub Action workers that work on ARM into the Falco organization, and we had something that starts working. So I'm very happy about that. Of course, anyone that wants to join this effort or is interested can collaborate. More signatures around and
Luca?
Yes?
What is the difference between the issue 260 and the issue 2455? Line 1 and line 3. Signatures for official container image, signature official Falco images.
Because this is for Falco, and this one also contains Falco CTL, and Falco Sidekick.
Oh, okay. It's not for Falco container images, it's for Falco organization images. Okay, not just Falco. Okay.
In fact, this one is in the evolution repository, while this one is the
okay.
repository.
Yeah, okay. It's always a mess because now the project boards are mixing different repository in single. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we could like add the a column here for the repo. Maybe there is a like. Oh, there we go. So
Okay.
there we have it. Your answer to your question right now. So
Thank you.
no problem. So thanks, Max, also for joining us. And so now Sumit was very interesting a couple of weeks ago when we spoke, was very interested in the work to sign the plugins with cosign. And this is on one side straightforward if you think about it. On the other, it's challenging because we use a custom tool to do the build and a custom tool to do the publishing. So I expect this to be not trivial and expect us to discover a lot of cool things some cool things along the way. So Sumit, would you like to share a bit of an update on what you researched and what the plan could be, or if there's any blockers?
Yes, I'll treat this more as a work session, and this is not like a demo of any finished product at all. Let me share my screen as well. Is that okay, Logan?
Of course. Go ahead.
So to start with, I will start with the repository of where everything is present at. I'll minimize this, just moving things out of the way. So this is the registry tool that we use, as mentioned, the bug itself, to correspondingly upload the plugins to the OCI accordingly, or from S3 via Pro accordingly, like that. And I was able to locate the injection point of where the cosign signature needs to go. I researched both approaches of first using the cosign as a binary image and just performing the action, and also using cosign as a Go package. Cosign has a good Go package going on with good documentations. So this is the second thing I was looking into accordingly, that how can I leverage the existing cosign package, Go package, and combine that with the code base here. So a few blockers for me, I think something is related to the way my Go is set up, is that whenever I add a dependency on the cosign package and save that, I think because I was not using that, it just like removes that package right away. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, you need to use the dependency before, because
yes.
Otherwise IDs or the Go tidy, Go mod.
Yeah. So that was my doubt there. And more important than that, I wouldn't say that a blocker, but a thing which I found was that I want to just go over a bit of code with you. So this is the handle artifact function. It makes calls to handle plugin and handle rule accordingly. However, if you look at the handle plugin code, like just high level, it takes S3 keys, config layer, and error, and handle rule, S3 keys and error. They are almost identical code pieces. So I just wanted to get like some understanding. Is this supposed to be replicated in this manner, or is this an error, or handle rule is not being called at all? What's the history behind this code here? So not right now, but in future, if there's a contact person I can talk to understand this piece, that will be helpful. I'll jump over again to the signing of the plugins and how does that workflow looks like. So I build like few plugins. For example, I built the libocta plugin in this case, and I was using cosign binary to simplify the process here. So this is the cosign binary which I'm trying to use here, and there I was trying to understand, or the confusion that I had was, where will I be obtaining the keys or certificate, or should this be a sample certificate I just need to attempt signing as of now, and then when this code will be merged, there'll be a location from where we'll be obtaining the actual certificate to sign these binaries. So I just wanted to have that more understanding of query.
Okay, Sumit, those are two great questions.
Yeah.
Let me answer the first question. That was why is rules and plugins duplicated code? I think you don't have to care about that. If needed to add a little bit of duplication, it's perfectly fine. That's mostly because historically, and that's, I guess it's your question, we have that clunky thing that you've seen probably where the plugin is actually built somewhere else and then taken from S3, while the rules for the plugins are already in the repo. And so there is something that needs to be cleaned up. This is also a part of an effort that exists. There is an issue and there's people that are working on it in a larger effort that maybe also, I think also Max has participated in some repository in moving to GitHub Actions, and that would go away. Pretty much that will go away when the entire process will happen in one place. So if we have GitHub Actions that is able to build and do everything, that the application will probably not be anymore like that, or it will be refactored into something more readable. So, but still, my suggestion is not to care about that specific difference because the signing, at the end of the day, the signing is going to be the same. Even if the signing function is called in two places and tomorrow it will be called in one place, it's perfectly fine.
Okay.
The second part of your question is actually very important. And this is something that our man developer guy told us. So there are two ways of operation for cosign. One is with a key, with a signature with a key. So you have to provide that key. And the other is keyless signing for cosign. If you look it up, if you look for cosign.
Yeah, I remember that from the presentation that he did. Yeah.
And you can assume a GitHub action because it has integration with the OIDC provider for GitHub Actions. You will notice that there is a way of doing it. And I've experimented it in a simple repo using the cosign binary with GitHub Actions. The challenge here is to try and use the library in a way that actually works within our pipeline with the cosign library that is still be able to do the keyless signing. This requires a bit of permissions inside the GitHub Actions. I would suggest you fork the repository and experiment on your personal fork, of course, because otherwise it would be, you can just delete part of the GitHub Actions and just create a job that does the, maybe takes one single S3, one single binary from S3, or doesn't need all, perhaps doesn't need all the permission. You can experiment it with it and see if you can add that part that makes the signature, and then it will publish it to your own GitHub Actions, GitHub packages in your own repo.
Okay, that makes more sense. I have the GitHub fork. I'll create the GitHub Actions accordingly there, and then use the keyless signing with the cosign library. I think someone has a question. Mass.
Yeah, I have a question and at the same time a concern about injecting the sign in the code, because as of now, for example, we have cosign that doesn't support officially stable as far as I know. The for example, OCI artifacts specification. So we will need then, I assume as soon as possible, to stick to the specification and upgrade the way that cosign uses signatures. And so my concern is about binding at code level with cosign instead of using the binary externally in the CI, at least for a signature. And then at the same time, I have a concern also for the verification, because, for example, we have an issue on Falco CTL for both sign-in and verification, and we were pretty sure to not inject the sign-in code in Falco CTL, but instead only verify with Falco CTL the artifacts, artifact signatures, I mean. But I have a concern of doing the encode instead of using cosign binary for both sign-in and verification.
Yes,
I
makes
don't
sense.
have a strong opinion, to be honest. Just a concern that I trying to raising.
Yeah, I didn't thought of that manner in terms of like that you might be performing any kind of certification work with the cosine library being injected in the code. So yeah, that's a valid concern for sure. And cosine binary uses, I had one pro on while I was researching that, is that in case if we change the tool for keyless signing from cosine to something else, if we abstracted it out and use as a binary, we can use some other tool as well. So I can take that approach as well. This is not a big deal. I have not done any major work at this point. So this is a great time to raise these concerns.
And I have opinions, of course, not super strong opinions about this, but I also thought about the concerns because I have known about these concerns for a little while. Let me share my screen again. So as you can see, we got Falco CTL, and we have a sign or verify sign. This is for signing up Falco CTL binaries and container images from our developer guy. And we have this one. This one is actually, I think, in this needs to be here. This needs to be with us. So as you can see here, there's a lot of discussions, some of which we already had. We had reached consensus in this case. Sorry for not updating the HackMD document, because can someone just write down this little part with this little concern that Max had, and also these two concerns pretty much. One, adding cosine as code. So this, if it works in the same way, I wouldn't be concerned. That's because the code that Sumit is looking at is not the Falco CTL code. This is the binary that is used within the plugin registry, the plugin repo, to update the registry. And this actually is a binary that is what would you do with a bash script, if you will. Like this is not binary that is shipped to customer, well, of course, to clients. No, I mean to whatever, to any user, any.
Yeah, it's a build process binary.
But this is binary that only does CI. So it's, for me, it's the same as a bash script, but it's better written. I wouldn't ever want to do it in bash. So I think basically the idea, the general idea, is that adding any code to this, for me, honestly, it's fine. I don't have any concern about doing that in this Go code, because this is just the CI part. It's not something that people will actually rely on. And pretty much that's for my first part of the concern. The second part is how about Falco CTL? It would be great, and this is something that someone needs to take as a task, and we'll try to do it. Perhaps if signatures are, if we're happy with how signatures are done, we can move on to that. The ability to verify the packages from Falco CTL, because Falco CTL, when it downloads stuff, it will it needs to do it without the need for any additional binary. Remember that Falco CTL is shipped into your Kubernetes cluster. So that is the part that needs to block in case the signatures don't match, or if there's any problems with that. So yeah, sorry for the answer that a bit lengthy, but long story short, I don't see a concern for when it comes to the plugin build directory, but I am a bit, I have doubts about how to do it properly into Falco CTL to actually have the verification part there.
So sorry if I understood correctly, you would like to. I see your point, Luca. So I like both ways. So we would have this sign in the plugins, in the plugins code, and the verification of the artifacts. Actually, for not only plugins but also rules in Falco CTL.
That is my idea, and I think it makes sense because, and of course, this will tie us to one way of signing because the verification will need to be same as the way of signing. However, if one day we switch, we'll switch. We can simply resign the packages with some other way. But for now, cosign looks like it's the standard that we like. It's used and adopted in the CNCF, so we all like it. The part that we don't like is the fact that we don't have the new referrer APIs, but that's just a matter of time. Maybe it will take some time for the specification to become official. We don't want to be blocked by it, so we're going to use the classic mode of operation of cosign, and then we'll switch to the new mode in both, of course, the package, the signed packages, and the client. And we'll be able to do it, I think, relatively easily because at the end of the day, you just need to push new versions and then have the new signatures in place.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Luca.
Thank you all for the discussion. Thank you all for this. And so, Sumit, please thank you so much, Roberto, for writing down this. I'm really grateful. So I will actually have to leave in a few minutes. So Sumit, it would be great if you could go on with this effort, please. We are here, of course, to help. I have seen that code. I know and in the community we have the people that have worked and that wrote that code. Max is also an expert in everything that is pretty much CI related within all the Falco projects. So he also has knowledge on this, and it would be great to get that. Also because I think by the time Falco 035 will come out in a little less than 2 months, and having a good signature coverage at that point will be awesome. Of course, nothing is we don't have right now all the infrastructure in place, but the more we can get in terms of signature, the better it is, because it's something that we really want for a security project.
For sure, I'll make the efforts and create the GitHub actions in my fork and move forward that progress.
Yeah, we're always here to try and answer questions, and even to maybe to have a pair coding session together at some point. If you feel like you need it, we can absolutely make time for it.
Okay, that sounds great as well. I'll take on that in a second, in the next few days.
Thank you all. And also, the next call is supposed to be in 2 weeks, but there will be no call because there's KubeCon in 2 weeks, and so most of us will be at KubeCon. So in that week, there will be no Falco Community call or this one. I hope, well, at least I will be at. I will have the opportunity to be at KubeCon in Amsterdam, and I hope to meet as many people from the community as possible, including the people that are helping us with the signature work. Thank you all. See you probably at this point in the end of the month. But anyways, let's keep in touch in the channel, because even if we don't have a synchronous call, we can talk at any time.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Thank you all, and I will leave. If you want to discuss something further, feel free to do it, and have the rest. Have a great rest of the day, evening, or everything that as you have. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.